Welcome to Raising Whitetails. Our family became deer farmers with a lot of questions, so we started documenting everything. What actually happens on a deer farm. Not just the wins, but the lessons and everything in between. The moments that no one talks about. Real, raw, and unfiltered. This is our journey for the new deer farmers. Welcome back to another episode of Raising Whitetails. Today we're talking about fencing. Most people pay a professional to do it, but we decided to do it by ourselves. And today we are walking you through exactly what we did. I am your host, Aaron Haig, and with me is my dad, Jeremy Haig, the owner of Haig Valley Whitetails, my brother, Isaac Haig, and finally, my other brother, Caleb Haig. We're standing right in the back. Building the fence and pounding the posts is finally when Caleb started to actually do some work. He did a lot when Isaac was gone because Isaac was the one who was helping Dad with holding posts and stretching fence, and Caleb filled in those shoes when he was gone. So he did a lot of holding the posts, right? Mm-hmm. He did a lot of brace posts, which we'll get into later, and you did some stretching the fence too.
He was a wonderful gopher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime I needed something, if it was too far away, he'd go run and get it. It was amazing. Again, when you start a deer farm with your whole family, it's like the best work you could possibly ask for.
Yes. Was it fun?
Yeah.
Good.
I know I had a blast, that's for sure.
Before we started actually building, you had to lay out all the fence posts. Do you want to explain your process of going through that?
Absolutely. So if you recall last episode, we showed you how to lay out your fences through Google Earth, or at least how I laid out mine. And I want to make this very clear that this is how we did things on our farm. That doesn't mean it's going to work on your farm, but we are showing you the things that we did in a DIY fashion. This isn't, you'll find out as we go through here, I stretched a lot of fence that wasn't right necessarily. No. And I learned later, and then we had to fix things. And the perfectionist in me also, made me redo some things. So it took me a lot longer. I know when I was talking to John at Straight Line Fence, who gave me all the information I needed anytime I needed it, he's like, hey, if we got there, we'd have this all done in about 2 days.
2 days?
2 days. They said they would have our 4 pens done in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And I believe him. They do this every single day, all day. That's what a professional can do.
I just want to read you guys this statistic real quick before.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I looked back at the pictures. You guys started on August 22nd and you finished on November 20th.
So, August, September, October, November. It took me 3 months to build 4 pens. Now, mind you, I lost Isaac during,
football.
When he went to football, and Aaron was at the
college,
your first year of college. Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, yes, it took 3 months to build a 2 or 3 day professional would have done it in 2 or 3 days. But, like I said, I redid things that I didn't necessarily have to. I pulled a lot of staples that I shouldn't have put in to begin with. It was a very much learning process for all of us. So what I'm going to be going through here is how we learned it. Hopefully we can help new deer farmers and maybe some old deer farmers that learn a new way. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work that way, I get it. There's going to be a lot of people out there going, yep, been through this, just like I said last time. And I'm just going to show you the things that John told me. I was on the phone with him a lot going, John, I'm in a situation here. I can't get this to come down on, in the low spots, or I'm struggling with this. What do I got to do? And, he'd tell me exactly how to do it. And we did it, and it turned out great. Yeah. But so to start out, after you design where you're going to put the fence. So I've got this picture here where I kind of vaguely put in where the posts are going to go. So let me tell you this. Corner posts are 6-inch posts. Brace posts are 5-inch posts, and line posts are 4-inch posts. Now, obviously a corner post is self-explanatory. It's this one right here in the corner. It takes any corner. You're putting a 6-inch post in. Brace posts, the 5-inch posts, and we'll show you pictures of all of this stuff of the posts and where they are in our pens. But this right here is a brace post, and this is another brace post. So you'll lay all this out on a piece of paper. I obviously have a piece of graph paper. 1 square is 10 feet. This isn't exact, but you lay out and pound your corner posts first, then your brace posts, and then your line posts. So when we did that, the way you find out how many you need, now we kind of took a roundabout idea of amount, you can't have anything wider than 20 feet apart. That is the rules that the DNR has for our fence. So it can't be higher than 8 feet. Or I'm sorry, it can't be lower than 8 feet. It can be higher if you want it to be. Some states, I think it's Alabama, I watched on a TV show once, are 10 feet. You have to be 10 feet, not 8 feet. I didn't realize that till I was out building fences myself. And I'm like, boy, am I glad I don't have to get on a taller ladder to get to the top, to the top staple, right? So for us, it's 8 feet tall. And then it's a high tensile fence where the squares get smaller and smaller as it goes to the bottom. So you lay them out, you pound your brace, your corner post first, then your brace posts, and then from this brace post to this brace post on the other end, you just measure that distance, divide it by a certain number, let's say it's 10, and that comes in under 20, then that's how many posts you need. And that's how we figured out how far apart our posts need to be in between our brace posts. Was if it was, let's just say the number was 17 and a half, then each one needed to be 17 and a half apart in order to make that distance everything less than 20 and be within the law of 20 feet or less. So that's how we figured out this. Now, again, these are 10 feet apart right here because that's just how I laid that out.
And to add to that as well, that 17 and a half also gives you room for if you hit a rock or, the post doesn't go in, you can move over.
And did we hit rocks?
Yes, we hit lots of rocks. We've had to move over a lot of posts.
I tell you what,
a lot of posts.
This post right here, we moved it. This is not the correct 150 feet by 150 feet. This post right here made this pen smaller and this pen bigger until we found a place that post would go down.
I think we tried to pound that post like 3 different times.
At least 3 different times. So you find out, matter of fact, I made a call and it was because we considered it a corner post because it makes this corner here. So it was one of our first ones.
It took us like half a day just to get that one in.
I called John just on that going, hey, what do I do here type of thing. He's like, well, if it was us, we'd pull up there with the big machine and that pulls them right out and puts them back in and pulls them right out until we find it. And if honestly, in the professionals, they have drills with them. They'll drill through that rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was shocked. Remember, that's what John said. He says, well, sometimes we've got to drill through the rocks. We've got to put them so they're legal, right?
That's crazy.
So, and the other law is that you need a 12-foot post in the state of Wisconsin now. Again, everything I go through is the state of Wisconsin and what the rules are there. I have no idea what it is for Minnesota, Alabama, Texas, anything like that. So obviously, you have to go to your own state laws and figure out what you need. But for us, it's a 12-foot post, 4 feet in the ground. Okay. That's what you have to have for all of these, all the way around your pens. And then there's your brace, braces in between your brace posts, which we used. I believe it was a 2-inch pipe, a galvanized pipe that was 10 feet long. So your brace posts are 10 feet away from each other from the corner and then 10 feet away from itself. I put 2 brace posts in down from each corner and 2 braces down from each corner in each one of our corners of the pens. That is how John had us do it. And that, I believe, made for a much more sturdy fence.
Yep.
Yeah. So once you have all of your posts in the right spot and you have them all sectioned out, then you actually bring in what we brought in was a skid steer with a post pounder.
Correct.
Yes.
And we started pounding them into the ground. Isaac, do you want to explain what you were doing? You had to sit there. You guys actually strung up string to make sure that it was lined up.
Yes,
so do you want to go through that process?
Yep. So it was definitely hard for the beginning to get our corner posts in because we had nothing to go off of besides a level and eyeballing it basically because you got to pound it in with that skid steer, but there's no way to figure out if it's straight up and down, so we have to go on each side with a level and get all of these corner posts as straight as possible. That way we can string up a string to go off of a line for all of our other posts.
Isn't it funny how when we started out, we used levels and we were like minutely changing it, and by the end, you're standing like 20 feet back and you're like, yep,
looks good. Looks good. Yeah.
So yeah, it went from that really specific, like I wanted it exactly to good enough.
But we also found it important though that some posts need to be straight.
There were the straightest posts need to be where your gates go.
Yep, the gate ones.
The gate posts are extremely important to make straight so your gates fit.
Yeah.
One big thing we probably should have brought up to begin with was the different ways you can put your posts in. You don't have to pound them in. I highly recommend pounding them in. I wouldn't do it any other way at this point. They're as tight as they'll ever be, and they won't erode underneath and get looser and into that effect, or at least they won't for quite some time. They will stay the tightest, the longest if you're post pounding with a post pounder. But a buddy of mine did a bunch of drilling, and they drilled the holes, and then they tamped them in all the way around and filled it and tamped it, filled it and tamped it. It's a lot longer process.
Yep.
And you do have to worry a little bit about it getting a little wiggly. You may have to tamp them in again a little later on after that dirt settles. But so there's drilling the posts.
I mean, we know how it goes too. We drilled our handling pens.
Yeah, if we want to go to that point, we actually we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So, but yes, we did have to do some drilling as well. So, so Isaac, talk about what we did from there as far as putting the lines up and trying to get a straight line.
Once we got all of our corner posts in, we would take a string from the top of the corner post to the bottom of the corner post and run those from one to the other. That way, when we are lining up our posts in between those two, it's straight on the top and the bottom, and it's straight all the way down.
Takes a little bit of the guesswork away in the fact that if you, as long as the bottom of the post is touching the bottom string,
Yep.
and the top is touching the top string, you just then you only got the other way.
Yep.
Right. That's why Isaac would stand back and go, okay, perfect, give it.
Yeah. Which that was a battle too. And that was, I don't know if that was the hardest part about doing it, but you would sit there and you'd watch the post, and as you were sitting there with the skid steer pounding it down, the skid steer wouldn't go straight down.
No.
And so you'd have to tell him to either push it forward, push it backward, because it would be going either leaning this way or leaning this way.
Yeah,
and then sometimes I remember standing out there and it would get too deep in the ground, and then you couldn't fix it. And so then it was one of those things where you had to take a chain and pull it back out.
Yep.
We did that a couple
And then
of times.
retry it.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen very many times because I wasn't about to go pull every post that wasn't exactly right.
No. And the way we found out how far to put our posts in, we would actually take a tape measure on each and every post and measure 99 inches and then mark that line with chalk in order for my dad to see it in the skid steer. And so that way when he's pounding it, it's facing him.
You would face the chalk to me.
Yep.
Now, we also had to make sure that if there was a bow in the post of any sort, we wanted the bow going a certain way, whether it was right or left. So I kind of really wanted a straight fence.
We wanted the straightest face, like on the fence side.
The straightest fence I could possibly get, and it didn't always work out the way I wanted it to, but we tried. But yeah, so I'd sit in the skid steer and push the button, and it would go down, and until it got to that, until it either hit a rock, and we had to change it, or it got to the chalk mark that we had at 99 inches. I was so happy when we got to the 99-inch mark and didn't hit a rock. It was like, success.
Do you know how long it took you guys to pound all the posts before you started stretching any fence?
I think post pounding was the longest. It was.
I have no idea how long that took because I do so many a day type of thing. Or
yeah, you guys would be out there for hours.
I mean, we would get like when we first started, we only got like 2-3 posts in a day.
Really, that little? Yeah, you're probably right though.
I mean, the first day took us like, I think we only got the this top left in the.
Well, take a look at this picture. We've got a picture of the very first post. It's this post right here in the corner. If you look at this drawing, and that was the very first one we put in. Then we went down here and put this one in, and we took pictures of that. And we'll have pictures as we go through this podcast of how the fence kind of took shape as we went. But yeah, it once we got the hang of post pounding, we did fine.
Yeah, it went quick.
Yeah, I mean, it started going faster and faster and faster. It's just something you can't do alone. At least I couldn't do alone. The pros maybe can. I don't know.
With their more high-tech machines.
If you guys had to do it again, what tools would have helped you?
A bigger skid steer would have been nice. The post pounder that we had needed an extension. And luckily, John at Straight Line Fence, once again, he was the reason this thing turned out as good as it did because he gave me all the pointers. But they rented us I believe it was a Montana post pounder. I'm not 100% sure on the brand name, but I believe it was. But he also had the extension. So we had my one of my very best friends borrowed me his skid steer, and it's a Bobcat 773. That does not have the height you need to get up on top of a 12-foot post to get it down. And it's only off by about a foot.
Yeah.
However, the extension on the post pounder made it so I could reach all the way up. Now, when you have that, you also have an extremely heavy piece of equipment 12 feet up in the air. And with that extension, it makes it even that much heavier. So when you get it up there, you have to control that or it comes crashing down.
Makes the skid steer very tippy.
Yeah, you need to get it on top of the post as smoothly. Won't say as fast as you can, as smoothly as you can, because one wrong jerk and
Yep.
away you go.
One tool I would recommend is headphones. That thing is very loud, in our case at least.
Like earplugs or
Yep,
something
something-
protecting your
You
hearing.
could hear it
Because-
in the house.
I mean, my friends that are neighbors, they said all day they can hear it inside their house.
And we're talking a couple miles away.
Yeah.
They said that?
Yes.
I didn't even know people said that they could
Yep.
hear it.
The developments down the road, we're hearing it
They're
constantly.
they're asking what we're doing. It's that loud. And me standing 10 feet under it, it's very loud.
Actually, it might have been a little bit over on a couple miles because that's only it's probably a half mile to
But-
3/4 of a mile away.
Yeah.
But they were hearing our post pounding for weeks on end. I mean,
Every day.
You know what? It took us 3 weeks because I only had
You only had so
The
much
postponer
time
so
for it.
long.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
right.
that's what happened. We only had it
was
for
it
so
3 weeks?
long.
It might have even been 2 weeks because I think I kept it an extra week longer, and it cost me so much a week. So actually, I think it only took. Now that I think about it, it only took us 2 weeks because I was supposed to do it in a week, and it took us 2 weeks because
It felt like so much longer.
Wow.
because We were up every morning, every night.
yeah, we did it that
Morning
last night when
tonight.
we were taking it back. It was well into the dark.
We were wearing headlamps. We had like truck lights pointing at what we were
Yeah.
using. It was
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. So once you finished pounding all the posts, obviously you
Yep.
started to stretch the fence,
Mhm.
and you had the brace posts as well.
yes.
So let me tell you a little story about what I learned. Cheap isn't the best.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to save money, don't save it by buying a cheap stretching bar. I think I went on Amazon. I bought one that was like $100. Thought I was saving a bunch of money. It was really foolish on my part because we were waiting for it and we finally got it. And the very first line of fence that I had no idea how to stretch, by the way, it bent right in half.
The whole thing
Just bent right in half. I was done. I had to run. I ended up running down to K Fence down in down south of the cities and getting a real Stay Tough fence, 8-foot fence stretcher, and that thing was amazing. But boy, tell you what, you start out with cheap stuff, and it was not good. But you know, one of the other things. Were you guys there when we tied the first corner in over before we stretched it the first time?
Yes.
Weren't you there too?
I think I helped
I-
do that.
I actually have no idea how it even looks to stretch all the fence and set it all up because I was
Really?
gone
Well,
for all of it.
But
Okay.
before we can even stretch the fence, we have to put all of our twitch wires on each and every corner,
That is a very good point too.
and we have to set up our brace posts.
That's a good point. See, so we're even a little bit amateurish on trying to show you how to put a fence up. But
Yeah, so what's
he's
that?
right. He's
what's
right.
that like? What was the process of doing all that?
So we have two 10-foot posts, or like they're 10 foot from each other.
10
so
feet apart.
10 feet apart. Yep. And so then we would have to drill a hole through the middle one, like all the way through, and one halfway through the far one, and then one halfway through the.
How high off the ground was that?
79 inches.
Yep, that's what it was.
79 inches.
Yep, I remember because I measured it so many times.
Yep. And I called John, and John said 79 inches off the ground is what you want to do for your braces. So we're putting the cross members, and we'll show you a picture here of what the brace looks like between the corner post and the brace post, and then between the two brace posts.
But so you would take these pins and you'd put them into the posts. That way it holds up your metal bar, and then once you get, because you have to have the two metal bars in between the two brace posts, and then once you have those in to support the tops, you have to take your twitch wire from the bottom of the corner to the top of the next post. So it's like a diagonal that cuts like that little square in half. And we would take we took staples, and I believe we stapled it right above the brace posts, or the the cross member, and we would just run twitch wire. I think we've lapped it twice around.
Brace wire, yeah.
Brace wire. We would lap it that twice around, and then we would take the ratchet. What was that called? I think it was the tightener.
Yeah, just the adjuster, just the brace wire adjuster.
Yep. So we would take that and we would crimp it to the wire, and then it would spool around this clamp as we tighten that up. And you'd have to do that for each and every section. So because we did 2 posts, we'd have to do two off like each side of the corner.
Right. So yes, it basically it's when you make a corner right here, you put brace wire and you're always going to the corner low and the top, the next high. So always on the bottom of the corner post. That way, when you tighten it, it pushes it towards the corner post. So yes, you're running a brace wire here, and you're running a brace wire here, as well as here and here. So now you've got a full corner done, and you do that everywhere on every single corner that you have. It's wherever you're changing direction of the fence, you're putting braces in, brace posts, and brace wires on each change and every gate. If it stops and it's sitting there free, you've got to put one in. Like here's a gate right here. It's a 16-foot gate. There are brace wires here and brace posts here. And as well as here, there's 2 gates. So it goes anywhere that you're changing direction or putting a gate in.
So once you have all the brace wire in, that's when you actually can hang or stretch the fence on?
Yep. But so, I'm going to add on what we just learned now about our brace wire. What we're going to fix for the next time is anytime it's possible to have the brace wire, twitch wire, have it on the outside of where you're going to hold your bucks because they will get caught up in that wire.
Well, and that's kind of a double-edged situation because you've always got to figure out which side of the fence you're going to put the wire on. And one side's going to have it, and then if you've got like this right here is the middle one side's going to have it and one side's not. So you either got to put 2 lines of wire, one on each side, if you need to do it that way. If you're gonna have bucks in pen 2 and bucks in pen 1, they're gonna get tied up in these brace wires if you don't cover them.
Stretching the fence. What does that process look like?
Well, again, you've got to terminate one end on a corner post. That, as a new person, is a nightmare.
Yeah.
You don't know how, I can't tell you how much YouTube helped me out as well as calling John. But you take somebody like John, who's a pro at straight line fence again. I already explained that, but he doesn't strip all the knots off to have a nice clean wire to go around the wire. They just clip and leave the knots on and tie it. And they hand tie. According to John, they hand tie everything.
Wow.
This wire's thick too. It's like not easy to bend.
It's a hard wire to bend. So, and this is all stuff we're learning as we go. Like I said, I'd never done this before. This is the very first 8-foot high tensile. I didn't even know which wire cutters to use. We had the wrong cutters for the first day.
You can't cut it.
I literally had to wait to find. I couldn't finish that day because I needed either the strain right clippers or the Clip-X clippers.
Yep.
And that, I tell you what, it's the best tool in the world.
Really?
I picked it up the same time I picked up the stretcher bar from K-Fence.
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe how much difference it was with the right tools, right?
With the wire cutters that we had, we were like basically jumping on them to cut it, and it's still not working.
So, another big learning thing. When we went to terminate around the first corner post, which is back here in this corner right here, I stripped all the wire, all the knots off. I had this long pile of wire. And we wrapped it around there, and I started hand twisting it because that's what John said they do. Never again. Never again.
Nope.
We went to the T-clips.
Yep.
T-clips. And we'll show you a T-clip as well. And we went to the T-clips, and it was night
game
and day.
changer.
It was night and day. It would have taken
forever.
6 months to do this if I would have had to twist every single one of them wires. And I don't know how John and his crew could have got it done in 2 days.
Wow.
When he hand twists everything. So hats off to the pros. They are amazing, and I don't know how they do it, but I won't be twisting any wire.
No.
I don't think you guys will either.
Nope.
So how did the clips work?
The clips are you just kind of leave that tail, wrap it around the other side. And again, I think we can definitely show that in the video, I think.
Yep.
But you wrap it around the wire, and then the clip grabs the wire, and you slide it through it, and it doesn't pull back out, and that's it.
Okay.
And we'll attach something. I mean, that was kind of a really bad
bad explanation,
it.
but
So between that and the inline gripples, they call them, there's no twisting involved. You just slide them in, and it locks them there, and you're good to go. So I highly suggest those.
Yeah. What did you guys learn stretching the fence that you wish you would have known sooner?
Propping it up with 2x4s.
That was a big deal, wasn't it?
And we learned that on like the last fence we stretched.
Yeah, don't remind me.
So what was that, propping it up with 2x4s?
Well, the first when we initially thought stretching fence, we thought you would just pull it real hard and the whole thing stands up against it. You staple it and that's it. So we tried that, and I think we overstretched it to the point where.
Well, the very first one we did was a 350. This one right here.
It was like our longest run.
315 feet long, which I mean it's not. This is the longest run's over here, 445. But this one here, I mean, it was long, but it wasn't. It was all right.
It wasn't crazy.
And we tied it off here, and I sat back here with the skid steer. This is where we bent the first.
the first
stretcher bar, and so we pulled this, and Isaac is 100% right. We learned, here's the last two that we pulled right here, these two, and we learned right here because it's uneven ground. It's the most uneven ground we have on the whole place.
There's like a big hill there. Yeah,
the majority of this was all flat, and we learned right here because hey, I got this. I called John a few times, but I didn't call him much more on that. And John's a busy guy. He's got things to do, so I didn't want to bother him too much. But if I would have bothered him right here a little bit more, or right here maybe, you just get 10 to 12 foot 2x4s.
And you stick it like into was it the top one? Mm-hmm. You like prop it on the top one, and then you like stick into the ground so it props up the fence.
It stands the whole fence up. And then I saw that on TV in a commercial.
Wow.
For another one doing that. I'm like, why didn't I just watch that once? Right. But again, and I kind of feel a little stupid because it seems so like elementary. Yeah. You prop something up, you push it up so it's not trying to stand itself
because
up.
Before that, I was standing and I mean, these fences are heavy. So I'm standing here trying to muscle push them up, and I'm getting like a fence falling over top of me, and you're trying to pull it.
And I move it and it slams down on you.
It was a big journey, but something definitely we should have known.
And all you have to do is have half a dozen 2x4s, prop them up. It stands it right up for you. Mm-hmm. And then when you start pulling them, so one of the things that you'll notice when you pull a long line of fence is that it starts to be very uneven. You'll pull more of the top and less of the bottom, and it'll start getting off. And I'm like, why is this thing
also something
up?
we struggled with a lot.
Yeah, and it's because I pulled one way too far and the other one couldn't catch up. I needed to do it exactly the same top and bottom, no matter what it was doing. And then it would all be nice and square. It'd line up on all the posts. But again, we didn't learn that until here. And so I battled with this whole thing, trying to figure out how to do it where it wasn't quite right.
And it was hard to stretch the top and the bottom evenly because what are those things called that we used?
Come-alongs.
Yeah, we used come-alongs on the top because our stretcher bar had these little triangles for like you could hook a chain to it, and so we'd hook our come-alongs to the top and the bottom, and then we would hook the come-alongs to the skid steer.
We'll show you a picture of a stretcher bar so you understand what it is. And like I said, for the new people out there, they're probably not going to know what it looks like, so we'll show you. And obviously for the vets, they know exactly what a stretcher bar is.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so we just use come-alongs and a stretcher bar to stretch our fence is how we did it. And we use the skid steer as a way to anchor to it. Some guys use the corner post you're pulling to. Mm-hmm. If you go on YouTube, you'll see guys doing that all the time, pulling from the corner post to stretch their fence. We just use the skid steer. Now, the way the pros do it, they pull up with a skid steer, they hook it up with the stretcher bar, and they just back up, staple.
Wow.
That's it. And I tried that. Didn't work.
So I remember you also telling me about how you were putting up all the fences and some of them were loose after you were tightening something else.
Yeah.
What was that you learned?
Another big mistake. And again, all this was learned after most of the farm was built.
Done, yeah.
So the twitch wires, or the brace wires on every single corner have a ratchet that you pull everything extremely tight, or you can get it super tight. You can adjust your fence as the years go on and it starts to relax. You can tighten them up. Well, I made the mistake of tightening the brace wires before we stretched the fence and tightening them considerably.
Yes, we.
And I didn't bother standing back and looking that I was pushing on the top of the corner post significantly, so they were starting to bow back a little bit. Well, that made it so fence gates weren't working out. That made it so things weren't straight after that. So what I found out is, well, I just got to back off on the ratchet, on the brace wire ratchet, and straighten it back out.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Backs
When you
up
do
the
that,
fence.
right? When you do that after it's been stretched, now you have a loose fence.
Yeah.
So
I remember walking down our middle lane, and I said, "What happened to this fence?" It's like because I was like pushing it really far in and out, and you're like, "Explain to me what happened." And
yeah.
that was halfway through the journey. So
Yeah. Again, this is all the lessons learned as I'm going and throughout this whole thing, building 4 small pens. 2 days work for a pro, 3 months for a DIYer. So that's kind of how that went. So yeah, when you don't tighten your brace wires at all until you get it stretched. Then you can tighten them down. You can snug them just slightly, but don't tighten them until you get the wire stretched onto them, and then tighten them, and that'll help tighten your fence more so than loosen it.
Hopefully this gave you a real look at what it actually takes to build a deer fence by yourself. Our goal is to provide you with all the information so you don't take more than 3 months to build your fence. If you want any help as a beginner building your fence, feel free to reach out to us. We'll help you as best as possible. But if you want a professional, reach out to John at Straight Line Fence, and as well as someone we met in the industry recently, Jeff from Fritz Fencing. Okay, now let's get into the featured buck of the week.
the featured buck of the week is Chaos from Major League Whitetails out of Ohio, owned by Jonathan Neese. Chaos is an amazing 2-year-old buck. At Codon 96, he is a GG with a GEBV of .030. He has one of the most proven lineages we have seen. Let's take a look.
Chaos's NADAR number is 392684. His ear tag ID is White2236. He was born in 2023. Now, let's look at his dam side, which is super impressive. Starting with Indiana Gem, Black Widow is an outcross to her, producing Chaos. Moving on to Storm Express. Also, if we look, Storm Express's dam is the famous Green 43. Express. Express was also bred to Green 43 in this pedigree to make Storm Express. Gladiator 2. Thunderstorm. Then Silverhawk, who was bred to the famous Green 43, and this is her second time on the pedigree. Then going all the way back, we got Gladiator, Woodard 727 Jr., Thunder, JB Eddie Buck, Redoy Bill, and then Thunderstorm.
Starting on the sire side, we have Black Widow with a score of 449 and 5/8 at 5 years old. His mainframe score was 283 and 1/8, which puts him in second place in the world behind Joker. He was 40 and 5/8 wide. Black Widow's dam, Miss Magic, is also the dam to HH Maga and the grand dam to Shutout, another amazing buck from Major League Whitetails who's an SS. Next is the amazing Blackjack with almost 3,000 offspring and the sire of Black Widow. Next is Big Stitch. Next is Voodoo's Magic. And if we look below, the dam is Twinkle, who is the great grand dam of Justified, Mega, Black Widow, and Rookie, who is from Major League Whitetails. Now Stitches. Bambi 2028. TR Voodoo. Maxbo Hardcore. Stickers GR100. 7C's Big Boy. 2020. Salt Lick Magnet. TR Texbo. High Roller. Maxbo. And Maxbo Ranger. If you want to introduce chaos into your breeding program, make sure to contact John Neese at 419-615-0301 or johnneese18 at hotmail.com, as well as the farm manager Russell Ogle at 740-603-2069 or majorleaguedeerfarm at gmail.com.